Hello and welcome to North London and the new River Stadium, just off White Hart Lane and home of London Scholars. We have what promises to be a really interesting clash this evening as the second match in this World Cup qualification pool pits Greece against Scotland. Last week, Scotland enjoyed an 86-0 victory over Serbia, and this is the Greeks' first game in the pool. So they're playing against Scotland this evening. They have another match coming up next week against Serbia, but all eyes are on this clash live from the New River Stadium. So I'm Dave Parkinson, delighted to be alongside Jermaine Coleman in commentary, the coach here of the London Scholars. So he knows plenty about what goes on this particular pitch. This is the second time that Greece have hosted a game down here. Unfortunately, their politics mean that they can't actually take any games there at the moment. So here we are once again at the New River Stadium. Now, the earlier game that Greece played at this ground was 50 points to 20, a victory for the Greeks over Norway. In build-up to this game, I caught up with both coaches, and you're going to see those interviews right now. I'm really pleased to be joined by Greek coach Steve Georgialis. We're here ahead of this big World Cup qualifier against Scotland. What's your thoughts, first of all, about the squad and this venue?
Yeah, we're lucky enough that London Scholars have given this venue. We played here before against Norway, and the players know it. So it's really good that we're here. And obviously we can't play in Greece, so it's catch-22 for us. But we'd love to be playing at home. But this is a home game for us, so we're using this as our home. And so far we're 1 for 1.
You say 1 for 1. That was a great victory earlier on in the year against Norway, of course. What are you expecting from Scotland tonight?
Well, obviously they won their game against Serbia 86-0, and some quality players in their team, of Super League standard. So we're expecting a pretty tough game, but we haven't got a chance to see that game, and I don't think we would have learnt too much from that game anyway. So the conditions suit, I think, both teams to play a bit of open football, and last night it was a bit cooler, and now it's it's a nice temperature to play footy.
Who should we be looking at from your point of view on your team?
And obviously our captain Jordan Meads, he's been involved with the team for 5 years. He's been playing some good football in this tournament, and obviously back home, the fullback, young Chase Robinson, who this will be his first game in the international. He's good on his feet. He's playing fullback. Some of the younger players that have come through that won the under-20s competition in Australia for South Sydney, the hooker Peter Mamazelis, the winger Nick Murjos, obviously the young talent coming through. And Billy Magoulias, who plays for Cronulla Sharks, is probably our, you would say our NRL player or equivalent. That they won their competition in the reserve grade last season for Newtown. So he'll be one to watch too.
I can tell that you're excited. I'm excited as well. Best of luck ahead of the game.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you very much. OK, I'm delighted to be joined by Scotland coach Nathan Graham. On the back of the last qualifying victory, 86 points to 0 against Serbia, what was that like?
It was. We didn't really know what sort of a standard of team we were going to come up against last week. Obviously, like these fellas, they had a few Australians in that they brought over from Sydney, and it's difficult to get footage of those people and to see how they played. So we just concentrated on ourselves and how we went about preparing for the game, and we concentrated on putting our players on what we've practiced for the last 5-6 weeks, and I think that paid dividends. And we scored 6 tries before they'd even touched the ball. And that's testament to how the guys stuck to the game plan, stuck to what we've worked on, and like I say, it came off for us real good.
Scotland squads of the past have been really close-knit groups. Is this one any different?
No, not at all. No, that's one thing that we pride ourselves on is being a close family, and we have some cards knocking about our hotels, and one of the straps on them is family, and that's what we all are. We get together. There's no bad eggs. And everyone buys into what we're doing, and I think that's why we've been so successful over the last few years.
You're new to the role this year in the top job. How have you found it?
I found it an eye-opener. It's a different different role for me. I've been coaching the student team, which is more or less under 23s for the last 5 years. So this is a little bit different, as there's a lot more teaching in the student role, where people are still sort of learning the skills and the shapes and that type of thing. But here it's just more about managing players, getting a good vibe. I can't teach Ryan Braley how to play halfback, or I can't teach Luke Douglas how to be a front rower. They know how to play. It's just getting the right systems in place and creating a good environment for them to perform on.
And finally, what do you make of this Greek side? They're a bit of an unknown quantity, really, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I've been trolling the internet trying to find some clips of their players. Managed to find a few. I know that they've like I said, the Serbian squad has a few Australians in, but looking at what the Greek team have got, they have a better class of Australians, should I say. Where I know there's a couple out of South Juniors, and there's a couple from Roosters Juniors. So we're under no illusions that it's not going to be anything like it was last week, and we've prepared accordingly. We're really buzzed up for this game, and we want to get a win. We set a target of winning both games to qualify really well, and that's what we're aiming for tonight.
Best of luck tonight, Nathan.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
So that's the thought of both coaches, and let's have a look at the two teams. So let's start off with the Greece lineup. So look out for Terry Constantinou at fullback. He is a real live wire. Then we have John Mitsias on one wing, Nick Mugios on the other, with Greg Koutsiborgas and Mitch Jampatidis in the centres. At halfback, it's Chase Robinson and Jordan Meads. They're going to be key, aren't they, as far as this is concerned, Jermaine?
Yeah, very much so. I think Jordan's obviously spent some time over here playing in League One over here with Newcastle, so he's going to need to take a real leading role in the game and make sure he's controlling the Greek team around.
In the pack, it's Stefano Totidis, Peter Mamazoulas, who was in absolutely outstanding form the last time that the Greek national team took the field. They played on this very ground against Norway. He scored 4 tries that day. Local hero Robert Tuilatu, who you know a lot about.
Yeah, Robert's had a fantastic season with us. He came in from West Wales mid-season, had a real impact on the team, and really unfortunate that he's got to go back and finish his studies in Australia next year. Otherwise, we'd love to have kept him.
Back row is Sebastian Sell, Jake Cambus and Bill Magoulios, who actually made his NRL debut in August. So plenty to expect from that young fella for head coach Steve Georgalis. And now here's the way that the Scots line up. So it's Alex Walker at fullback. He's had a good season with the London Broncos. Matt Hogg, David Dixon, David Scott and Will Oakes amongst the back line. Callum McClelland and Ryan Briley at half back, with Luke Douglas, Oscar Thomas and Sam Luckley in the front row. Nick Gluey, Ben Kavanagh and Dale Ferguson line up for head coach Nathan Graham. And this is how the benches line up for both sides. So for the Greeks, it's Costa Katsidonis, Stefanos Bastos, Jake Vranos and Theodoros Nianakis. And for Scotland, it's Dan Turlin, Joe McLean, Kieran Moran and Liam Falkland, who, if he gets on, will make his debut. So these are nervous times, aren't they, just in the prelude to any game? It don't matter who you're playing, doesn't matter what time of day it is, these are nervous.
Yeah, very much so. Obviously, there's a lot of nervous energy going around. You're excited to get on the pitch and get out there, and you just want that first tackle, that first contact to sort of get your teeth into it and feel like you're part of the game then, But, these bits are exciting but nervous at the same time.
The question that I asked of the coaching staff before was who to look out for. And certainly on the Greek side, I've already mentioned the 9 is a real crucial player. Jordan Meads as well has played over here in the past. I think he had a spell with Newcastle. And Zampatidis as well is also a very good player in the centres. Is there any of that Scotland lineup that you're thinking?
Yeah, I think I'm really excited to watch Callum McLennan play. I think he's had a fantastic season at Featherstone. A young lad with lots and lots of talent. It wouldn't really surprise me if he spent some time in the first team next year at Leeds. So I'm excited to see how he goes. I think Alex Walker's always a danger. In the back line, he's just all over the pitch. He's so fit. It's just really hard to get hold of in the tackle. He's very elusive. So they've got some good players as well, Scotland, that are going to challenge the Greek team.
The pictures that you can see in front of you, this is of the Greek side taking their place just to the left of the halfway line. We're going to be pausing for the national anthems. Our referee for tonight's encounter is none other than James Child.
Ladies and gentlemen, those of you that can, please be upstanding for the national anthems of Scotland and Greece.
Great renditions of both national anthems, though. It means so much, doesn't it, to all these players?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you're representing your country, it's just so much more passion within the jersey. I mean, the togetherness that you have, everyone's there representing the country and all want to do really well. So, from first-hand experience myself, it's just something that you can't really put into words.
This is something that I'm hoping that we can fit into the commentary at some point, because obviously you've got first-hand experience, like you was mentioning, with your involvement with the Jamaican team earlier this month.
Yeah,
Well, last month as it is now.
Well, yeah, what a week we had. The England game was fantastic. To finish the season off every year with that group of players is a real excitement. It's a real honour. So yeah, I can't wait to continue developing with them and look forward to spending some time in the World Cup with obviously maybe both of these teams.
So it's going to be Ryan Briley to get us underway from a Scotland persuasion. Spent much of the term on loan at Leigh Centurions. I should say back at Leigh Centurions, because he had a really prolific first spell with the club a few years ago. And he gets us underway, and it's caught straight away by Greece. So they'll take this ball in for the first time, 20 metres from their own line. Straight away, Mamouzeles is in at dummy half, and he passes to the left-hand side to Tuilatu. Tuilatu, good run, big first hit up from him.
Yeah, it's Rob all over. He's just a strong carrier of the ball, real difficult to handle. He's got a great offload game and a great left foot step when he gets going.
And again, doing a good job. Greece getting towards the halfway line. There's Tuilatu again, gets an offload going.
There's the offload we was talking about.
Down the left-hand side, it's moved. Good movement, and that's a strong run too. What is quite aware from this opening set here, Jermaine, is that Scotland's going to have to be aware all over the field, aren't they? Because they're moving the ball pretty well in these.
Yeah, the Greeks have got some exciting players. You mentioned the hooker before. You see another offload here, and through the middle of the pitch, they've got some.
And here they come, all put down on the 10-metre line. That was Constantinou. Constantinou will play it 10 metres out. It's sent down the left-hand side. Kick comes in, a little bit too much on it though. I like the intent though.
Yeah, great first set. They've gone 100 metres essentially on the first set there. Scotland are going to have to pull their finger out, I think.
Just over a minute gone. Forward comes Scotland. Make a good 12 metres with their first carry. Moving into dummy half is Oscar Thomas, who's moved around Greater Manchester this season. Started off at Swinton, finished it off at Rochdale.
He's an exciting player, Oscar. I'm interested to see him in this hooking role. You know, he can play with the ball. He's got some fantastic core skills, so he'll be exciting around the ruck if Scotland can get that roll on.
Good run down that left-hand side by skipper Dale Ferguson. He's over halfway. He'll gain his feet here. Then it'll be sent down the left-hand side. This is Ben Kavanagh. Kavanagh over the 40-metre line. That's where he's put down by a 3-man welcoming committee from Greece. Into the middle it comes. Here's McClellan. McClellan out to Briley. Briley across. Oh, this is great link-up play. The Scots are away down the right-hand side. Are they going to go in? Well, it's turned back on the inside. And it is going to be a try. It's a try for Ryan Briley, doing what he does best. Support player supreme.
Exactly that. He's always up the middle, always sniffing an opportunity. And has some really good core skills there from the Scottish team. I think the Greeks are going to be in for a little bit of a hassle there if they keep slamming in on defence.
I mean, they were cut to ribbons there down that right-hand side. So let's have a look at this replay. I mean, Briley initiates it all, doesn't he? Gets it out wide. Lovely tip-on play there with Walker.
Yeah, I think Callum McLennan does really well in the middle there. He skips across a few defenders, holds them in, obviously, with the lines underneath, and, you know, gives Briley a lot of time on the outside, who does exactly the same for Al Walker.
Nice confident running from Davy Dixon as well. Finished last season at Keighley. He's moving on to Dewsbury next term. But he was a man in form last week against Serbia, scored 34 points in total, 2 tries and 13 goals. And already he's opened his account for the evening with 3 minutes gone.
Yeah, he's a prolific point scorer, Ryan. You know, every club he's been at, he's done it, whether it was at Toronto, whether it was at Lee. You know, obviously this year back at Lee again as well, and now in the Scotland team doing exactly the same.
So he lines up this conversion attempt directly in front of the post. He'll be pleased that he was able to take it to that position. And it's 6 points to 0 in favour of Scotland. World Cup qualifying game. 6 points to 0 in favour of Scotland. And Briley will scurry back to his position and we'll await the restart. Probably a disappointing start that for Greece, would you say?
Yeah, off the back of a really good set with the ball. I think that 7-second set really hurt them there. And obviously, you know, Al Walker returns the ball really quick and picks up an easy 10-15 metres, and then straight away they're in good ball Scotland. So, you know, the Greeks are going to have to front up here and front load their energy, get off the line and make sure their contact is good and try and restrict some metres of the Scottish team.
So when you say front load energy, what do you mean that from a coaching point of view?
I'm talking about them, you know, really putting some energy into that line speed at the far end in the Scottish half and trying to restrict the metres. If they can do that, then obviously what they're hoping to do is give their back three some nice easy ball without being under any pressure, and, you know, obviously they can get on the front foot and they start their sets where they need to.
There's David Scott just getting over that 40-metre line, just trying to put Scotland on the front foot. Ferguson will carry that battle in and carry Scotland over halfway. He'll play just a couple of metres inside the opposition half as Thomas scoops it right. Kick comes in from Briley. Oh, he skied that one. That's really coming down and taken really well by Terry Constantinou. That was a superb take from the fullback.
Yeah,
had
great
to be good.
Take off the floor. Al's, you know, always a willing chaser on them kicks, so you have to make sure you're willing to get up and compete with them, because he's definitely going to be there on every one of them.
Greece deep inside their own half, just trying to bring it away from their side of the field. Peter Mamoulas moving once again into dummy half. Got a runner to his right hand side. That's big Stefanos Tatidis. Still, they're just behind their side of the halfway line here, Greece. Long ball back. It's going to be reliant on this big kick. And it is a big boot which comes in from Jordan Meads. Taken on the full there by Walker. Walker to start the counter-attack. He picks where he's going to run. Then skips past a couple of defenders and gets outside his 20. Quick play the ball. What is pretty noticeable is the pace that Scotland are playing at. They're getting on the front foot early
they're making metres really easy there. You know, Matthew Oggs just made some decent metres, and then Davies followed off the back of that, and then we've got another carry from here, Will Oakes. But, you know, that's 30 metres in 3 carries there by the back three, and it just puts Scotland in such a demanding position and just gives them that free rein to sort of play some good ball. And
gives Thomas this opportunity to run forward from dummy half as well, and he makes the 40-metre line, plays it. McClelland passes to the right hand side, picks up Luke Douglas. He's been doing that throughout his career, over 350 games in all competitions. Last one tonight as the kick comes in from Briley, hangs in the air, Whoa, and that's come down, and he's done really well there once again as Terry Constantinou sparks the counter-attack, comes down this right-hand side, and he's just inside his own 20-metre line when he's caught by the defence.
There. He's again up there competing with Al Walker, but transition that straight into attack, and all of a sudden the Greeks are on the front foot.
I wonder whether this game will open up on the back of that. That's a solid run by Mitch Zampatidis. Zampatidis, all held just over his own 40-metre line. Ball swept left, turned inside. That defence though, he's honest, it's good, it's solid.
It's just, some really good first up contact, and the wrestles is really good there. So that's the difference between the two teams at the moment, is the fact that the Scottish team are managing to restrict their metres, and then off the back of that good defensive set, they put pressure on the kicker and it's out in the full.
Scotland will be really happy with that, seeing the Greek team put that ball out on the full. I'm sure that's not where he wanted to put that ball, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't think that's where he was aiming. It's an interesting pitch to play on this Scholars pitch. The wind picks up and can catch that ball really quickly and take it where you don't want it to go.
I mean, yes, this is your home pitch as well, isn't it? Because you're one of the Scholars head coach as well, Jermaine, aren't you? It
is our home pitch. The 4G pitch has made a massive difference to us. The pitch has been widened this year, which you can see by the sort of double touch lines, which has made a big difference to us as well. It just allows us a little bit more free space, but again,
talking about free-spirited, free scoring. Here comes Scotland down the left-hand side, and it ends up being a really good tackle to deny Will Oakes. Just 10 metres away from the line there was Walker, switches it in field. Good link-up play. It's out with McClelland. McClelland tries to bump through the first tackler. Control to the depth by the second. 12 metres away from the try line, Scotland in centre field. Thomas wanted to get on with things, not allowed to. And it's a penalty to Scotland.
It's an interesting decision here. I think the Scots, Dale's obviously telling them to take the 2 and get the points on the board. So
we're just seeing the replay of that break, and they worked it so well, didn't they? And in the end, it was good cover defence, which came in particular from John Mitsiasis.
Yeah, it showed some good speed there to chase Will Oates back and get themselves back in a position to defend the set.
So they're going to tap here of Scotland. Ball turned back for Luke Douglas. He only knows one way, charging forward, wrestling for every inch. He's 5 metres away from the line. It's put down the right-hand side by Thomas. Oh, lovely ball. It just opened up momentarily, and the tackle came in to deny Scotland. Still the press in here. That's a scrappy pass. Picked up by Luckley. Now it's kicked forward and picked up by Greece. Unfortunate there, I think, as far as Greece were concerned. He fancied his chances there to get away.
Yeah,
Chase Robinson.
He did, definitely. I thought the fullback's got some good footwork there, and he's quick, so it would have been an interesting situation there had he not gotten a penalty.
I think there was just the temptation of a shoulder charge put in, and yes, that's what our referee has marked there. So Thomas to turn this ball right. Douglas keeps it moving. The tacklers pile in. Scotland are 10 metres, in fact they're inside that 10 metre mark, they're 5 metres away from the line. Thomas out of dummy half, has options left, short ball, finds Douglas lifted, Douglas put down, he's still found his front though. He'll look to play this ball 2 metres out from the line. Thomas sends it left, good movement from McClelland all the way. Great work from McClelland, little bit of nifty footwork and a bit of strength as well.
Yeah, I mean, as I said to you earlier on, he's been doing that all year at Featherstone. He's a very elusive player, good at creating space for others, but on that occasion just a little bit of footwork has got him on the outside of Jordan Meade. I think he was flown out the line and 4 points down.
A couple of players seem to pile in and go high as well, which wouldn't have helped, but it's easy for us to say it, isn't it, from up here? What do you think they've seen here? I mean, he's rushed up, hasn't he? And just not caught anybody.
I think he's just realised they're a little bit short numbers and tried to, gone for the miracle play and tried to pull it off. And unfortunately, if you don't get there, then you can look a little bit silly. But I think the Greeks need to get their numbering sorting out on the line. I think they're often numbering off wrong and just giving them outside players just a little bit too much space to cover.
I agree with you though, Jermaine. He's looked class this season as McClelland. Certainly in his 11 games he's had at Fev, he's been phenomenal. He was one of the main reasons why they did so well at the back end of the season, wasn't he?
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, you saw it in the £1 million game. He was, it was another fantastic performance from him. Just controls the game. Plays well above his years in terms of how he coordinates the game and controls the game for his team.
Here's Ryan Briley. Just overcooks that one. Didn't come round enough. Scoreline remains 10-0 in favour of Scotland. But this continues to be a really good start for Scotland, doesn't it?
Yeah, again, they're just travelling up the pitch, and obviously winning the territory battle at the moment. The Greeks need to sort of get down there again and try front load this set, see if they can reduce them to sort of 40 metres if possible, and hopefully get the ball back and give some space to their fullback, who looks unbelievably dangerous.
11 minutes gone of this game. You're watching live on Our League. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Do let us know where you're watching from. I'm quite happy to receive your tweets and give it a mention maybe at some point over the course of the game. Hashtag Our League in your response though. Here we are on the halfway line with Greece, sending this ball long. It's controlled off the boot. Oh, he could be a footballer with that touch. And he raced forward to pick up as well. Walker does well. He's 15 metres from his own line. I'm not sure whether he does have football in his background, to be honest.
Not that I know of, but as I said, Giles is a talented player, and can do fantastic things on a rugby pitch. So.
Here comes Scotland again down this left-hand side. That's a strong drive down this left by Ben Kavanagh. He's had a good season with Halifax. McClelland dropping it back for the big man Ferguson, who's on the lookout for another club. He's sure to have his fair share of suitors, isn't he?
Yeah, I think London Scholars are in need of someone of his experience, so I might try to have a conversation with him after the game.
Here's Thomas, roaming forward, getting over the halfway line. See, you could use this as a bit of a spying mission as well, couldn't you?
Very much so. That was part of the plan.
Kick comes in, it's a high one, it's a hanging one. Oh, what a confident take. That's a super take. He's away down the right-hand side. And is he in touch? No, he's done well to stay within the field of play. Constantin here again. Dangerous from the back. Greece back in possession, and with the start off to that set, they put themselves on the front foot for a change, haven't they?
Yeah, they have done. They've got some ball, possibly in good ball here. I think they might be able to get an opportunity just to have a little bit of a shot at them. If not, then be able to finish in a corner and obviously buy some land back. Cambos
played it. This is now Stefanos Bastos running forward. Spent time with Doncaster this season as the ball sent down the left-hand side. Oh, lovely stepping run. Stepped a couple of times, eventually put down on that 30-metre line. Last tackle signalled. Ball on the left-hand side, through hands. It's a wide ball. Chances down that side, but good defence by Scotland. They kept it simple, didn't they? Marked up well.
Would number off really well there. I'm not sure I'd be happy if I was a Greek coach there. I think I'd be asking them to finish in the corner in that position.
It's a bit of a let-off, really, isn't it, as far as Scotland are concerned, getting a turnover there.
Definitely so. I think Scotland would probably have expected to be coming off the try line at this point, but as it happens, they're 40 metres out, carry 2, so they'll be fairly happy with that.
So Scotland 10 points to the good. Almost 14 minutes gone of this game as Thomas picks up out of dummy half, passes left, little stepping run forward comes in. The tackle is good though. Scotland over their own 40-metre line as Thomas sends it left. Big drive once again to halfway.
So as you said before, Douglas finding his front, just putting him on that front foot again, and the Greeks really struggling to handle him there.
And the offload game coming off the back of it and sparking something out wide. That's a massive hit though. What a hit that was. Absolutely cut him in two. Nick Mugios really cutting in off his wing there.
Yeah, he did. I think just probably a little bit unfortunate. Just went a little bit over the top, and hopefully Davey's all right.
He's a tough cookie, is Dave Scott. Let's have a look at this again. Luckily using his footwork. Lovely sleight of hand as well. Then this pass came out from Gluey. Wow. Ouch.
Yeah, I mean, it's potentially a little bit harsh there. I think they just get a little bit overexcited, the Scottish players there, but I can understand why the penalty was given. Referee
having words. I don't know what else he could have done there, to be honest. That was just a big hit for me.
Yeah, I think he had to come in, he had to commit to it. If he doesn't, then Scotland have got the overlap again. Again, as you said, Sam getting a good offload there, and then Dale Ferguson knocking his player off. But it's something you mentioned earlier on about the Greek players just tackling a little bit high. I think they're going to have to possibly come up with another strategy about how they're going to deal with this Scotland team, because they're rolling down the pitch really easy.
I will say though that Scotland won't be complaining at this at all, will they? Because they get an extra set of 6 tackles just 30 metres away from the try line.
Yeah, they will, and again they're backing good ball, but for me it comes from that poor finish in the last set from the Greeks. I think they needed to have finished in that corner there, and they might not be defending their own line now.
So those are the thoughts of Jermaine Coleman, head coach of London Scholars. Delighted to have his company this evening, as I'm delighted to have yours as well. Another penalty goes the way of Scotland. They're just giving away a few too many infringements at the moment for my liking here, Greece.
They are just wasting their energy really. I think the Scots will be really happy with how things are going at the moment.
Here's McClellan, throws the dummy, he's half through the line again, he's spinning, he's got to the try line and just forced back within the field of play. Wow, he's a live wire. Here's Thomas, long ball to the right, Brierley takes over, equally long ball, out to Walker, stepping, skipping, from left to right, drags 3 defenders in, 2 metres out from the line, he's still going, eventually put down. He'll play this ball to Thomas. Thomas will look round, sends it left, Brierley called for it again, he drops it back over his shoulder, he'll soften them up in the middle. Now will there be a move on the back of this play?
Yeah, again I think Greeks are just a little bit short of numbers on this left edge.
And that's where it's come straight down this side. And have they got the strength to go over? They have, and it's awarded. Good score there for Ben Kavanagh. Too big and too strong.
Yeah, again, just struggling to control them tackles. I just think that first up contact is just not good enough at the moment by the Greeks, and the Scottish players are just on the front foot constantly. It makes it very easy for your halfback if you're on the front foot. You're playing against a broken defensive line as opposed to a set one. And
this is why I always appreciate being alongside a head coach, because you called that play. You said that they'd move it to where they didn't have numbers.
Yeah, as you said, it's easy to call it from up here. It's a little bit different when you're on the field, though, when it's your team and you're trying to coach. You obviously can't get that information out as quick as possible, but good execution from the Scots again, finding that space, and then, as you said, Ben Kavanagh just too big, too strong.
Seemed to get the better of Thor there as well. I noticed Sampatides sporting Thor-like locks. Tell you what, this will be a decent kick if Brierley can land it. Just a couple of strides away from the touchline. There's some banter as to why sometimes it's rumoured that rugby union players can kick better than league players. I suggest that comes down to practice. I don't know about you.
Yeah, possibly practice, possibly the size of the ball as well. Obviously, the rugby union balls are a little bit rounder than the rugby league ball, so more surface area, better contact. But yeah, I'll go with practice as well.
That's a technical answer for my producer, as Brierley's just sent that down the right hand side. He was just posing the question in the background, so I thought I would ask our expert here. 14 points to 0 in favour of Scotland, 3 tries to 0, and this has been a really good opening quarter. 18 and a half minutes gone, and they made a very similar start to this last week against Serbia, where I think they scored 5 tries in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic start. Scotland couldn't hope for anything else, really. Completing their sets, knocking off the points. The Greeks, just really struggling here. Again, it's all from this first sort of kick-off. Luke Douglas again. See if he gets a quick play of the ball. I
always find it interesting as well from a restart where teams can end up, because if they end up on the front foot like that, it just allows just that space and time for the dummy half to scoot out, and Thomas picked it out perfectly.
It does, and the Scots are rolling forward here. They've got good numbers pushing through them block holes, and the Greeks are really struggling.
And the offload comes in, and they're down the ground again through Walker, just loses his footing, but still this movement hasn't died. He's come down this left hand side. There's McClellan, he's still up, and he gets the offload going. Brilliant play from him. And now Kavanagh settles it down, flicks the ball out acrobatically though. It comes out, and the stepping run comes in for Walker again. He's on that 10 metre line, skipping forward, 5 metres away from that try line, maybe a little bit closer. Thomas has more options, but he'll take it forward himself. This time wrapped up by 3.
Again, they've got space out on that right hand side, good numbers as well.
Walker, short ball to his right hand side. Have they managed to get in? No, there's a penalty here. A penalty here for Greece. An obstruction.
Definitely needed that. The Greeks will have to take a little bit of time here. You'll see how slow they restart this game, get their breath back a little bit. They've nothing but defended for the last 5 minutes.
They somehow just managed to get a little bit messy there, didn't they? Chucking the ball into that period. I think it was it was the skipper Ferguson who managed to get in the way somewhat.
Yeah, I thought they had so many numbers out to the right hand side. The Greeks are really struggling. They're overloading that space in the middle of the park and leaving their edges really short. And the Scots have shown already that they've got the skill to get it out there and execute. So,
hope you're enjoying this coverage on the Our League app this evening. Do tell your friends, get them signed up, as Greece have come up with an error. Oh, I'll tell you what, it's a little bit wet, it's a little bit murky out there now. Greece is certainly the word.
Well, yeah, that's it. They're hurting themselves, the Greeks, and obviously not finishing the corner. Previous sets, last time they had the ball, now they're the poor error on 40 metres out, and the Scots are back in good ball again.
They've been certainly good from this position as far as the game's concerned. It's a game that's 21 and a bit minutes old. 3 tries scored by Scotland thus far from Ryan Briley, Callum McClelland and Ben Kavanagh. He was the last try scorer. 1 goal from the boot of Briley as it comes out and sent down this left-hand side again. They just seem to be toying with the Greek defence all the time.
They are, again, their execution is really good, and again the Greeks struggling to get their numbers right there. 6 on 5 from a scrum. I know it's a difficult one, but again the Scots are just getting themselves to good start points and then just getting their numbers right, and the Greeks are struggling.
Here comes Ferguson, throws a dummy, surges on, spinning through a couple of tackles. I thought he was going to offload as well, but thought better of it. Thomas is there in support. He'll pass left. McClelland drops it back to Kavanagh, who's having an awesome start to this game. He's inside that 20-metre line. This is where he'll play it. Thomas scoops it right. Here comes Douglas. Douglas within sight of that try line again. Last tackle signal. Where's this ball going to go? It'll go to the right-hand side. That was a poor pass, really. Briley couldn't complete the set.
Disappointing there from Oscar Thomas out of dummy half. I was just about to comment him before and say his delivery has been perfect, but that one's unfortunate.
I'm not going to class that as a commentator's curse though, because he didn't say it when it actually happened. Leave that to me. So Greece with some welcome possession, 40 metres from their own line. Mamouzeles picks up out of dummy half, sends it down the left-hand side.
Need to get a little bit of push here, the Greeks, and find some energy. That'll do them a world of good.
I think certainly that'll help with winning the penalty. Scotland a little bit loose around the play the ball area there, just holding down a little bit too much for James Childs.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if I was coaching Scotland now. They've been on the front foot, they've had all possession, and you shouldn't really be giving penalties away like that. Third tackle.
Now your pictures that you're seeing at home might not show the fact that it is teeming down at the moment. It's that fine rain that soaks you through, to coin a saying from a well-known Northern comic. Why not bring Northern comics into International Rugby League?
Why not?
Here come Greece, 20 metres from the line. Starting to charge forward. That's a big charge to the 10-metre line.
Fully stacked on this right edge now, the Greeks.
Mamouzelos to the right-hand side. Through the hands of Robinson and Meads. Oh, and there's a chance here, and they'll go in. Greece score. It's Mitch Zampatidis with all the strength to get between the defenders. And Thor doesn't need his hammer. He's gone and touched it now.
No, that's what they needed. A little bit of time, a little bit of space, a little bit of opportunity to attack, and poor defence there on the edge from the Scottish. The Scottish team really should have sort of gobbled this up.
This was really good link up between the two half-backs. The full-back had moved up as well. Yeah, the Zampatidis found himself one-on-one with a smaller player.
Yeah, the full-back does really well there. Just that last little movement off his right foot and just holding McLennan up and just gives the centre a one-on-one there. Just see out of the back here, just his last step, holds him up, squares up the man, makes it a one-on-one attack. And he does really well.
There's not much in that play, is there? But there is you described there the subtlety of that play, because it's just getting just that angle, isn't it?
It is. It just what it does. It just stops McLennan from sliding on and making that tackle. It means Dave Scott in the centre has to just hold a little bit tighter to him, and then all of a sudden he's on his outside shoulder. If he doesn't square up, if he doesn't take that right foot step, then McLennan just pushes off him, and what then comes is a two-man tackle, and he probably ends up in touch.
Greece back in the game, trailing by 4 points to 14 here at the new River Stadium, home of the London Scholars. Temporary home to Greece Rugby League, it seems, for the last two internationals.
Yeah, we've had them, as you said, this last two internationals now. Obviously it helps that Roberts in the team, and we get to see a lot of the Greek boys down here. We've got a good relationship with them, and hopefully they enjoy their time when they come here, so long may it continue.
Is this good from a club point of view as well? I'm just thinking, is there a Greek population that lives around here?
Massive. Palmer's Green just around the corner. It's got a lot of Greeks, a lot of Cypriots. You see that in the crowd. Obviously, the last time they played, I think there were 700-800 people that came and watched the game. Probably never watched a game of rugby before, and possibly are only watching it again for the second time today. So it's great exposure for the club. From our point of view, what we need to do now is tap into that, and obviously it'd be good if we could get a couple of Greek boys down here and keep them promoting the sport for us.
And it's good tapping into that as well. It's something that, with you being involved with the Jamaican side, you did well to tap into that around the Leeds area.
Yeah, it's a huge thing to do. I think any international team has a real responsibility to get the community involved and get the community buy-in, and almost create something that the community want to buy into, and people that they want to look up to as role models. And hopefully some of the young Greek lads that are here watching the game can look at these players and they want to be part and parcel of it, and hopefully they go on to represent the country as well.
Greece 4, Scotland 14. Greeks back in possession. Good quick play of the ball. There's Marmaloules from dummy half, rolling forward, picks up a couple of defenders. Thomas is one of them. He's all over the top of the man. Referee's patience holds. The ball put to the right hand side. They're trying to punch their way through the middle now.
It's important they finish the set well here.
Let's see if just that happens. It's out with Meads. He'll sky this one. Oh, that's a huge kick. Oh, devilish bounce. Walker takes it and he's bundled behind his own line. Wow, what a kick that was.
Great set off the back of points. That's what they wanted last time. 100 metres off the back of points. Really good chase again from the fullback.
We'll just see this replay as well, and you see the chase team after this one too. Really put pressure on.
Yeah, that wasn't a nice kick. Willows did not want to take that one. It's important the Greeks should spend a bit of time here now, not try and chase the game. They just need to finish their sets, complete some time down in the Scottish half, and make them have to defend a bit.
Just shows on these 3 or 4G pitches you can't allow a ball to bounce because you don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, it's not a nice pitch once it bounces, and the in goal is massive here at Scholars. So
big run coming in from the local man Tuilatu.
There you see that left foot step, just getting him through the middle, and off the back of that they're on the front foot.
Equally strong carry from Cambos. They're 10 metres away from the line. Peppering through the middle. I think that's Magoulias. Magoulias 2 metres away from the line. Oh, and they're over again. Short play from dummy half. Tuilatu scores, and there won't be a more popular scorer around here than him.
No, they certainly won't. I'm really glad for Rob. He had a little bit of a torrid time at the end of last season, so for him to be back out there and playing now, I'm chuffed to bits for him. He was a bit concerned about whether he would be playing rugby again at the end of the year, so it's a really exciting time for him.
I really like how Greece peppered the middle. They kept the pressure on this play here. Well, Tuilatu's called for it, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's Ben Kavanagh on the line there, just switching off. But as we said, similar with Scotland, the Scotland team were punching forward and rolling forward, and the Greek team were struggling to sort of number up and get their numbers right. And you see exactly the same scenario here. You see Al Walker nice and tight, too many people around the ruck, which means the outsider turning in and looking in.
As far as this contest is concerned, it's really livened up this last 10 minutes, hasn't it?
Yeah, certainly so. The game is definitely back on. The Scots thought they were running away with it, but the Greeks, to their credit, have dug in there and defended themselves really well, and are now back in the game.
Jordan Meads has added on the extras. It's Greece 10, Scotland 14. Now, I'm just wondering, from a coaching point of view, what sort of messages would you be sending out to both sides at the moment? Because if you were on this side of the coin both ways.
Do you know, I think both teams will be getting the same message. I think the Greeks will be getting told, don't get carried away with themselves, make sure they keep completing their sets and turn this set over in a corner. Possibly talking about going early off the back of this set, good couple of carries in, punching the ball down early and possibly finishing touch. And the same with the Scots, they'll be told not to panic, to tighten up in their defence, stop that little bit of a roll on, and then just get themselves back into that grind, complete a couple of sets, and they know once they get into some good ball they can post points as well.
Almost half an hour gone of this game. Greece right back in it, trailing by 10 points to 14 and playing confidently down the left hand side, picking up metres. That's a driving tackle coming in from Scotland though, stopping them dead in the tracks.
Yeah, you see the difference here. All of a sudden the Greeks 50 metres are in now, four carries in. Again, it's going to be about this kick finish, and it looks like they're going to be setting up with Jordan Meads with another one of them spiral bombs.
Oh, that's a great run through the middle. Magoulias getting the pass away.
That's what we were talking about, not forcing it, just completing your sets.
Scotland recovering possession. Now they'll start the counter-attack from 10 metres inside their own half. Stepping, stuttering run forward, that one from Matt Hogg, who's come right through the age groups for Scotland, so it's good to see that sort of progression happening.
Yeah, it's not too long ago I saw him playing half-back here for Scotland A's against a Scholars reserve team, and he was really good that year. I think they beat us 40-odd points to 20 or something like that, and he was one of the strongest performers. I
also remember seeing him about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, played a game down at Lee Miners against the England Community Lions 19s, and he intercepted a ball 40 metres from the line, and nobody realised he'd done it until he was virtually on the line. He was that quick and away.
They're the ones you want when no one chases you. Makes you look fast.
Dare I ask how many of those have you scored in the past, Jermaine?
Not many since.
Here comes Scotland over the halfway line. Thomas is pointing at a couple of late retreaters and then passes to the left. Good link up. Here's McClellan dropping it back over his shoulder to Kavanagh, who's seen a lot of the ball down this left hand side.
He has done. McClellan's turned him underneath a few times and he's just got that little nice hit and spin and just rolls out the tackle, just gets him on the front foot.
More no nonsense stuff from Luke Douglas. 35 metres away from the line. Pass comes left to McClelland. Oh, they've got the overlap again. Here's Walker. Walker wide. It's another try for Scotland. David Scott going in. And I tell you what, he only scored 2 tries all season for Batley. He scored a hat-trick last week. He scored 1 this week. He wants to play more international stuff.
Definitely does. Finds it a lot easier, quite clearly. But yeah, as we said before, the Greeks needed to really finish that set because we knew that the Scottish team are able to post points every time they get down here. Again, as you said before, late retreaters. Great play there by Callum McLennan, and then Al just cruises through, takes his chance with a 2-on-1 at the end.
I mean, I know you practice those sort of runs, don't you? That's often a training move to get that sort of work between and get a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2, and that was a perfect example of one.
Yeah, definitely. It's something straight off the training ground. I'm sure the Scots have been working on that. As you said, it's something that probably every club that play rugby league are working on, but it's about that execution, it's about that timing, and once you get it right, it's very difficult to defend.
33 minutes of the game gone. That's just what Scotland needed. They were rocking, they were on the back foot a little bit, wasn't they?
They were. The Greeks were on a roll, but as we said, they had to finish that last set positively, and unfortunately they didn't. They had an error 40-50 metres out, and then the Scots are on the front foot and they've posted points.
Once again, Briley with a difficult conversion attempt, just 5 metres in from the touchline. He's getting plenty of practice from this side, it must be said.
Well, he is, hopefully, third time lucky.
In he steps. Oh, he's just swept it just to the other side now. So the scoreline remains Greece 10, Scotland 18. He just shrugs his head ruefully.
Yeah, he's pushed to the other side and then dragged that one a little bit there, so I think he'll be a bit disappointed with that. Off the back of how the Greeks have just come back, the game can be very close just off the back of a couple of tries, so these kicks are quite important, I think.
So really enjoying this game. It's a wide open game, and I don't know what I was expecting when I was driving down, if I was being honest. I didn't know quite what to expect from Greece. They made a really slow start and have come back into it, and Scotland have took the control again.
Yeah, they have done. As the last time they played here, the Greeks, they were exciting. They were 30 odd points up, nearly 40 odd points up at half time, and let the Norwegians back into the game. So you can tell that they can play rugby. They've got some quality players out there. As you said before, one of their players made his debut this year in the NRL, so they've definitely got quality out there, and if Scotland don't give them the respect that they need and just step off, then they've shown that they will post points.
Talking about quality, there's that man who's had it in abundance, 12 years in the NRL before coming over here to St Helens. Luke Douglas winning the penalty there.
And then they're back on the front foot again, the Scots here. A couple of carries and they're back into good ball, and the Greeks are going to have to get their contact right and their numbering off right, otherwise they're going to be behind the sticks again.
They've not done themselves any favours there, have they? They've made it easy for Scotland to cross this halfway line.
They have. They've just given them a get out every time they've got down there. They've just allowed them to truck over, as I said, over that halfway line just a little bit too easy. That's what we're talking about at the start of the game. We're talking about them front loading their energy and trying to stop that. As soon as Scots get into good ball, then the Greeks are under real pressure. Again, they're getting their numbers wrong. Rob, real late. That was
the first carry from Kieran Moran, who's got up gingerly, but the Scots are quickly switching the ball down the right hand side. Here goes Davy Dixon, inside ball, finds support. Briley feeds it out the back. Still they're going forward here. It's all hands to the pump as far as Greece are concerned. McClellan taking control again, sliding through the defence, just about held. Have they got enough on him? Well, he's trying to stretch every sinew for the line.
It's a strong boy, isn't it? Every time he gets that half a gap, he's shrugging people off, and they're really struggling to hold him.
Long ball back to the middle. Here's Thomas, finds Briley. Briley handing off. Good tackling. Scotland have reached the last tackle. Ball on the right hand side. Kick comes in from Briley. It's flicked back. Walker keeps it moving. And another little flick kick comes in. It's almost like a Sabutio kick, that one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought that might have been back to 1 there. I couldn't really see if the referee had signalled it or not, but again, I think the Scots will be a bit disappointed with that final kick then.
Greece won't be complaining. 20 metres or so away from their own line. Ball comes one pass to the right, and they'll try and make those metres. Mamouzelos picks up out a dummy half, passes to his right hand side. The tacklers pile in. This has been a real good area of the game for Scotland. They've got the numbers in, haven't they, to slow it down?
Yeah, they have. Their contact has been really good, and I think the Greeks are just a little bit off the pace. They're just a step behind. You see how deep they are there. They need to just push up a little bit and give some more options to the hooker, who's obviously got lots of talent.
Meads gets his kick away. That's a devilish one. It's allowed to bounce. He's chasing through, and the ball's just gone loose. Chance they're lost for Greece. Oh, but I tell you what, that was danger.
Yeah, Will Oakes is really struggling with them kicks now. That's 2 or 3 from Jordan that he's popped up, and Ross Oakes has been struggling to get anywhere near him. He's not given the best of support by the rest of his teammates, to be fair, but you know, the Greeks are pushing real hard, and there was an opportunity there.
Possibly the second time in the game Will Oakes has found himself all at sea underneath a kick or two. It's hasn't played that many games for I think it was Hull KR who he was with.
Yeah, I think he spent the back end of the season on loan at York for probably the playoffs, towards the end of the playoffs, and you know, he's in a good situation at York there. James is a fantastic coach and done, you know, amazing job there at York this year.
Forward comes Scotland. It's an all or nothing run coming through the middle. Thomas is at dummy half, he'll scoop it left. McClellan drops it back for Kavanagh, tries to punch his way through. They've set themselves a good position. He tries to gain his feet, plays it. Should have been a penalty there for mine, but Thomas isn't complaining. He's down the ground.
Again, Kavanagh getting that quick play of the ball once he's coming underneath on McLennan.
Now it's on the right hand side. Last tackle. Briley spots something, bursts into the backfield, gets the pass away, and it's just knocked on. That's unlucky.
Yeah, I think they're just forcing it a little bit, Scotland there. I think the coach would be disappointed there that they're not just finishing in the corner and playing the set out a little bit. You know, obviously Ryan's a fantastic player and he's seen a little bit of space there on the front foot, but yeah, for mine I'd have been asking him to finish in the corner, I think.
Yeah, he set off and there was that little bit of support, but yeah, just that last hands let him down. Still, Greece won't be complaining. 2 minutes from the break, trailing by 8 in this one of the Greeks.
No, I think they'll be pretty happy going in at half time at this score. I think, you know, given how much defence they did in that first sort of 15 minutes, they'll be fairly happy to only be 8 points behind going into the second half.
Still, they try and cut forward. Got to be honest, they've not really deviated a lot from the plan either, have they?
No, they haven't, to be fair, the Greeks. I think it's just 1 or 2 errors that's letting them down a little bit.
Oh, half intercept coming in there, but not quite completed from a Scotland persuasion. Once again, it was Peter Mamouzelos who was really good out of dummy half. There's Tuilatu again, crashing forward. 25 metres away from the line. Ball sent left. Little drop-off play.
Very interesting second half if the Greeks get over the line here.
Into the last minute. Tuilatu comes through the middle. Well met by the defence. 12 metres away from the line. Hope you're enjoying the coverage as much as we're enjoying bringing it to you. Greece playing out on this right-hand side. Lovely hands again. But then the final pass goes to ground and it's all an attack of the fumbles at the last second.
Yeah, good play again there by the Greek team. Again, they're just getting the fullback just on the outside shoulder of the defender, and you know, he's causing some real problems. He's got some real pace about him, and it's making them outside defenders just bite in a little bit.
Chance here in the closing seconds of the half for Greece, who will get the put in at this scrum.
The Scots will be looking to hold them out here. They need to defend this set up and start getting some good contact, slowing the ruck down, see if they can buy some time and get themselves through to half time.
Meads feeds it. Magoulis passes left. Try and work something. Briley's there in defence. Helped out by Nick Louis. Oh, and this is a bit of quick play from dummy half, and he's threatened a couple of times, and I think that's a try for Peter Mamouzelos. Our match officials have something to sort out though.
Yeah, rugby players always like a little bit of a push and a shove. So the last thing the Scots needed though was to give the Greeks a little bit of a look in before half time. What
a perfect response that is from Greece. And we saw the defence initially, it was good from Scotland, but
yeah, I think Al Walker just jumps on that short side there, and Oscar just doesn't tie in and get tight enough at A. And as we've said before, the hooker can get out, and he's quick, he's dangerous. He scored 4 tries the last time he played here, and he jumped out there and he's over the line.
Mahmoud Loss scores out of dummy half. Referee being sensible here, having a chat to both half-backs, telling them just to calm it down. They've only got a few seconds left of the half.
Yeah, exactly. Just obviously Greece and the Scot getting a little bit excited there underneath the sticks, but as you said, James, using all his experience, calming both sets of players down, and hopefully going to half-time and it'll all be forgotten. Them kicks from the touchline looking important now.
They're looking increasingly important here, Jermaine, as that's another goal tagged on for Jordan Meads. He's second of the evening, and that makes it Greece 16, Scotland 18. It's going to be a good second half.
It's going to be very interesting second half. The Greeks are going to be full of energy now, getting a try just before half-time, coming from behind. The Scots are going to have to go in there and do some little bit of soul searching and just figure out why they're on the back foot. I think for them, they need to get some control back in the game and just getting through them sets and stop forcing them passes.
And that is confirmation. It is half time, and let's have a look at the highlights from that first half. It was saw some tremendous rugby, started with this movement.
Yeah, again, the Scots did this a couple of times and just got on the outside of the Greek team. The Greek team just getting the numbers wrong and jamming in on the edges, and as we said in commentary, Ryan pushing up on the inside like he always does.
And then we see just another angle on it, perhaps the closer one. And we saw the winger bite in there, didn't we? Just for a second, move Gios, which created the space.
He did, and then Davey down the outside, and then manages to get right to the fullback and pop it inside to Ryan, as we said. Again, another example here of the Scots just getting themselves in a position, and the Greeks just being a little bit short on the outside.
How good has McClellan been this half? I mean, that was just a real good example of what he's been doing for much of the last 6 months, isn't it?
It's exactly that, getting himself on the outside shoulder of that defender, just dropping that shoulder, and he's a big strong boy. I think the Greeks have struggled again. You see there just pushing off from the full back, and even with a prop coming across, he just dives over the line.
Then there was even more pressure on the Greeks at this stage as Thomas picked up out of dummy half, sent it left to McClelland. Kavanagh just skipping on the outside of his defender and having too much strength.
Yeah, exactly that. Again, just isolating that bigger man on that smaller man. He manages to get that back rower out on the centre here, and unfortunately the winger just doesn't bite in enough, and Kavanagh manages to get himself over the line.
Now at that stage at 14-0, it was looking like this scoreline could have gone anyway, but we saw the Greek fight back started with this.
We did, excellent, as we said in commentary. They loaded up the numbers again here. They get it out to the fullback, who's been dangerous, and then that last movement there just gets that centre, as we just said on the previous try, one-on-one, a bigger man on a smaller man.
I have to admit, I've been trying to think who this centre reminds me of, and I still can't think of his name, but there's a lad who plays at Woolston, very similar sort of build, and he used to do that so many times.
Yeah, he looked like a big strong boy to start there, the centre for the Greek team. It's a little bit of a shame he's had to go off. It looked like he had a bit of an ankle injury.
And then we saw this. Can we call him hometown hero?
Hometown hero, yeah, definitely so. Rob did that for a few times, crashed over. He's a big, strong, powerful boy. He's got fantastic footwork. And he just picks out a hole there, just gets on the outside of the defender, and a great spot by the hooker, just pops it up short. It looks like it was going out the back, but they're just paying no attention to that lead runner.
Real strong carry that from Tuilatu. Then it looked like the Scotland were going to take control again. David Scott with this next score, and as you mentioned in commentary, creating that 3-on-2 situation.
Yeah, exactly. They executed it so well there, the Scots, as you said previously. They've done it a couple of times on both sides of the pitch, and I thought at this point the Scots were just going to take back out in control of the game and take that enthusiasm out, but unfortunately they didn't finish the sets properly. They got a little bit overexcited, and they just give the Greeks that opportunity to go back and post points at the other end.
And then there was this just before half time. What a time to score. There's never not a bad time to score, in fairness.
No, but definitely from a coach's point of view, this is the best time to score a try. You go in full of energy, it almost does your team talk for you. You know, on the flip side, as a defensive coach here, it's a real killer. You know, your team go in really flat, they're really disappointed, and you know, it makes your team talk so much harder at half time when you've just conceded points. To go back in there and get their energy back up again and get them buzzing to come back out in the second half, you know, it makes things so much harder.
So that was the final try of the half, scored by Peter Marmouzelos. It's Greece 16, Scotland 18 at half time, and you saw the hometown hero Robert Tuilatu's going over for a try. Let's hear from him now as he discusses the politics of the Greece game.
A little special now for you, our league viewers, because me and Pricey were sat getting ready with Ron Palumbo, and Rob came in. Rob Tuliatu, half Samoan, half Greek. It's a great combination, and he started telling us about rugby league in Greece. Now, I've got some friends who played for the heavy woolen team, went over this year, and he said to me, and I just thought he'd had a few too many sherbets, that rugby league is illegal in Greece. Is this true?
Yeah, the story is so ridiculous that we almost don't tell people, because people go, mate, you're full of it. They don't believe the stories that we tell them about how ridiculous the situation is over there at the moment. It's we're playing games in secret. We've got players being sued by the government. Rugby league is illegal in all over the country.
Tell us why. So start off, why? Why is rugby league illegal in Greece?
So originally it started smooth sailing at the beginning. The federation had a good relationship with the government, and then for whatever reason the federation and the government had a split, and the government ran its own organisation which was banned by the RLEF for mismanagement of funds. So originally we were supposed to play several internationals, and Greece didn't play those internationals but took the money from the RLEF. When that happened, Greece got banned by the RLEF. It's taken a lot of years and a lot of hard work by a lot of people involved to get a new federation started and to get back into the international scene. But unfortunately, that previous federation, which is banned by the RLEF, is still recognised by the Greek government. So they play their own competition with their own national team against their own countries, which include Italy and Pakistan. They play against these different federations, and then we have our own federation which is recognised by the RLEF but is not recognised by the Greek government.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
Tell us a story about they had to play in secret.
Yeah, the Malta game. So this is a World Cup qualifier.
So this is a World Cup qualifier. It's Group C to go through to play the game against Norway that we just played. Malta has flown over to Athens. We've put them in a hotel, and no one's allowed to know where the game is. The players are not allowed to know where the game is. The coach is not allowed to know where the game is. And you've got to put yourself in the situation of Malta, who have flown over to Greece and not known when they're going to play. They're not known where they're going to play. They've been told to get on a bus and to just drive. They don't know how long they're going to be on the bus for. They don't know where they're going. They don't know how to prep properly for the games. Same with us. And then they've just been taken to a field up in the mountains to play a game in secret. And because if the government had found out, if the police had found out, they would have shown up and closed the game. We actually announced a separate field in a place called Patra, which is in the Peloponnesos of Greece, and the police rocked up there to get ready to close down this game. It happened. There's a Balkan Super League, which is a great initiative that we've got going involving Turkey and Albania and Greece. Yeah. And the police rocked up to one of those games against the Serbian team, I believe, and they shut the game down at the second half, and they took both captains from both teams back to the police station for questioning about this game of rugby league.
I love it. I love it.
Only in RL.
Only rugby league will you find problems like this. And people won't believe me when I tell them, and I wouldn't believe it if I heard it. It's illegal to play rugby league. People ask, why do the people keep playing for? Why would they play? There's people being sued, people going back to police stations.
Locked up for playing rugby.
They love the game. In Greece, the people involved in the game absolutely love it. And otherwise, you have to be a bit mad to keep playing it, because the stuff that they go through.
It's crazy.
And I want to give a shout out to Arta as well from the Ukrainian Federation, who bought 8 players to my amateur club Milford, and they played for us all last year. And there were like 4 of them that were really good, played first team. 4 of them have played in second team, and they improved loads. And you've went to Ukraine and played against them.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was an amazing experience. Ukraine were phenomenal. They took care of us really well, much better than when teams come to Greece and we're playing secret games. But they were a really quality side. They were really difficult. I think we only nabbed them by 2 points. They came chasing our tails at the end. But they had a halfback, Alexander, maybe was that his name?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the bold guy, and he was class. He was really class. They were a really difficult team to take on.
And your journey now, you came over, you're playing at West Wales, and you also followed your teammate Ron over to London Scholars. How's life in London for you?
It's phenomenal. I wound up in London. I knew some of the Scholars boys, and I met Jermaine. And I didn't expect to be here, but it's been a great fit so far. It's been a lot better. It's been a great improvement.
And you played against Norway recently, won that game.
Yeah.
So what's next in terms of the World Cup? I'm going there with the Jamaica. How are you getting there? What's the route for you guys?
We just won Group C, so we've got Russia and Scotland. So we play Russia in Russia, and we don't know where we're going to play Scotland. We're supposed to host, but like I said, we're playing secret games and that sort of thing, so we don't know where that game's going to be so far. We're pushing for the government. There's a social media campaign at the moment, the hashtag Let Greece Play, to try and get a home game against Scotland in Athens, which would be phenomenal for us. But if that doesn't eventuate, we likely have to play in England or something. But yeah, if we can, the top 2 teams will go through, so we're hoping for a win against either Russia or Scotland to try and get through to the World Cup.
Awesome. Absolutely outstanding.
Awesome.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. It's great to have you down here at Rugby Towers. There you go. Illegal in Greece, but they're still going over to the World Cup. Watch out for the Greek boys. Give them some support after Jamaica.
So, half-time here, it's Greece 16, Scotland 18, and really interesting to hear the politics. It always seems that wherever we go in rugby league, there's always some politics involved, isn't there, sadly?
Always, unfortunately, I don't think we can get away from it in rugby league. We don't help ourselves, we make it a little bit more difficult than it needs to be.
So, what do you make of what you've seen? I know we sort of had a bit of a chat sort of out of half-time there, but what do you make of it? I think it's been a really good contest.
It's been a fantastic game. I don't think there'll be many, to be honest with you, that would have sat down and thought that the Scottish team were going to be pushed so close. I think, those who would have seen the Greek team play previously against Norway would have expected to have a pretty decent, exciting game, but to see the game so close, I think it's probably a shock to everybody at the moment.
So we have been greeted by fireworks as well out to our left-hand side. You may have heard a couple of those, to be honest, on the pre-match interviews. I couldn't believe it. Sometimes you line these interviews up and you go and do. I mean, I remember doing one with your good self earlier this season over at Keighley. We had to take you to the other side of the pitch because of the noise that was coming from the tannoy.
We did, yeah. It's funny. I was having a conversation with the referees before and saying exactly the same thing. That it's going to be a little bit of a put-off if you're playing to hear it constantly going off, but I guess that's what happens when you're playing a night fixture around bonfire night. You expect to hear them,
and in a way we've had plenty of fireworks of our own anyway, haven't we?
We have, obviously. The final part of the first half, you had some fireworks underneath the sticks. The Scottish team a little bit unhappy with something that happened, and the Greeks reacting to it. But I think from the Greek point of view, that's what they want. They want to rile the Scottish team up. They want to put them off their game a little bit. With all respect, a lot of the Scottish players are playing at a good level and playing together week in, week out. So, the Greeks coming together and trying to compete against them is a real tough ask.
There we go. I wasn't making them up. That was the fireworks. That was the fireworks that we promised, and the fireworks have delivered.
They have, very much so. Hopefully they'll deliver again in the second half.
Thank you very much to the inhabitants of North London for that. And we're just about ready for the second half because the team's starting to emerge from the dressing rooms. With it being so close, what do you think will have been said?
Again, I think for the Greeks it'll be just talking about continue to play with that enthusiasm and that passion that they've shown. I think I'd be asking them just to tighten up in their defence and slow that rut down a little bit so they can get their numbers a little bit better. From the Scottish point of view, I think they just need to get back into their systems. They just need to roll the ball down the pitch a little bit quicker, play off the back of them good carriage from Kavanagh and Douglas, give Oscar a little bit of time and space to get out of dummy half, and then I'd promote the ball to Briley and McLennan as much as possible because they look so dangerous when they've got the ball in good ball.
It was almost like that first 20 minutes was the perfect 20 minutes for Scotland, but then the last 10 minutes was perfect for Greece, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a tough one, when you're playing sport, when you're on the front foot and things are coming off. you know, you tend to get a little bit carried away with what you're doing, and the hardest thing about it is sticking to that structure. And the better teams, the better players, they're the ones that manage to do that. They stick to that structure, they stick to that game plan, and they don't deviate from it. And that's why you see that the Roosters and teams such as that Canberra just ticking off games after game after game just by continuing to do them same things over and over again. And the teams like ourselves, unfortunately, at Scholars, we can compete for lots of periods of game, but we just get a little bit bored at times, and that's where we fall short.
Those are the thoughts and comments from Jermaine Coleman. Plenty from him in the second half. Let us get down to action as Greece are about to get us underway again. Long kick downfield to start us off. The fireworks still sparkling in the background. We're set for 40 minutes of explosive action, so don't go anywhere here on the Our League app. So Scotland making first use of possession, driving through the middle, 30 metres or so away from their own line. For me, Greece just need to tighten up a little bit around that ruck area. They're still allowing Scotland a little bit too much latitude, aren't they?
They are. They're just a little bit lapsed in that contact. They need another number or so in the tackle, and just to wrap that ball up, so they can hold that defender up and have that third man coming and chopping and just slowing that ruck down a little bit, just buying them a second to get themselves back on side and get some line speed.
Here comes Scotland over the halfway line, battling run forward towards that 40-metre line. Quick play the ball to Oscar Thomas. Briley to complete this set. High-hanging kick. Well, that's coming down with snow on it. Really well taken there once again by that man Chase Robinson. He's been solid, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I mean, you mentioned before that he's at the Roosters. I think he's on the Roosters books, and you can see why. He's a really exciting player. He's got fantastic footwork and speed, and I've already had a few people texting me asking me about him.
Here's Tuilatu. You'll be able to ask him first hand what he's like to play alongside.
Well, I'm hoping I can get my teeth into him first before someone else does.
Here come Greece down the left hand side. The defence is strong. We've got a second effort going on, but that is going to be penalised. And Greece wanted to get on with things quickly. That was Billy Magoulias who was carried out of play. The bloke that's made 2 first team appearances for the Sharks, I think, this season. Ball put down the left hand side. Here come Greece, 30 metres from the line. Being told that they can come a further 5 metres forward. Strong carry by Greg Koutsibiorgas. Ball out to the right hand side. Building slowly here, Greece, but moving themselves into position really well. Just 8 metres away from the line. Here's that man Mazules again, gets it out the back. Oh, that has a high shot, which headed Mead's way. It's a good job he ducked, to be honest. I think he still caught it.
I think, is it Kieran Moss that's flown out the line there to try and get him? I think Jordan probably needs to give himself a little bit more depth there, but good pressure from the inside. Just unfortunate that he's gone over the top there and given a penalty away.
He kind of got done all ends up, really, didn't he? We'll see a replay of it now. We see his late retreat.
He is, but this is what you want from your middles. If I'm a coach, I'm asking my middle to get up hard and go put some pressure on that half back, let him know that he's there. To his credit, he does. He gets up off a line, he pushes off. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit poor technique. It's, difficult to do a high tackle when you're that short, to be fair.
So Kieran Moran started off his career with Hull Kingston Rovers. Just last season was playing over at Keighley. Still a very promising front rower. Oh, referee's going to his back pocket, and it's a yellow card. He's sin-binned him. So Scotland are going to be disadvantaged by 1 player for the next 10 minutes. Yeah,
not the start that the Scottish coach would have wanted there. They had a fantastic first set, and unfortunately off the back of the penalty, and they now find themselves a man down as well. So chance here for Greece. Can they take advantage? Can they take the lead? Well, this is a surprise. They're going for goal. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too shocked at that, to be honest with you. I think Jordan levelling it up here with next 10 minutes to play with an extra man. I think they'll be licking their fingers here and thinking they've got a good opportunity, and if they can level it up now, then any points after that puts them potentially 6 points in front. So probably the right decision, I would have said.
I think I'm that shocked when players decide to go for goal in rugby league these days, because quite often they do just tap it, don't they? As Meads adds those extras, and why not? He's in good kicking form. 3 out of 4.
Yeah, definitely. It's a given 2 points there underneath the sticks. It makes sense for him to take them. As I said, puts them level again now, and hopefully they can take advantage in his next 10 minutes.
Just 4 minutes of the second half gone. You're watching via the Our League app. My name's Dave Parkinson. It's a delight to have your company this evening. It's also great to be in the company of Jermaine Coleman as well, giving me the benefit of his experience and everyone at home.
Yeah, you see the Scots using their experience here, walking up to the kick-off, taking out some of that time. Obviously James has now stopped the clock.
And away we go again. So that's a lengthy restart. Almost an AFL type take above his head.
Yeah, that's a great take. I'm not sure I'd be very happy about that watching from the touchline. I'd have preferred
10
him
metres from their own line, and they've knocked on of Greece, so they put all the pressure on.
Yeah, I mean, the Scots, you know, that's what they've been looking for from that kick-off, forcing an error and spending a little bit of time down in the Greek half in particular. Now they're down a man.
Let's see if they can come up with anything off the back of that. 18 points each. Still 8 minutes in the sin bin as far as Kieran Moran is concerned. Callum McClellan to feed this scrum. I don't blame Scotland for slowing it down, because if I'm right in thinking, doesn't the sin bin clock just tick on anyway?
That's correct, yeah. As you see it on the screen, it's just ticking away. So, you know, the Scots are excited. The Scots are using their brain here and just ticking this clock down and, you know, faffing about at the scrum here. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Scots post points really in this set.
Here's Brierley passing to the right hand side. Nick Glowy with that carry within 8 metres of the line. Rumour has it he's on his way to Lee Centurions. They've yet to announce any signings for next season, but it's spilled in here for Scotland. Oh, look at that. That is brilliant from McClellan.
Yeah,
straight through.
Been a threat all game. Every time he's got that ball out the back, and, you know, the Greeks will be really disappointed with that. Just off the back of getting themselves level. Silly error again inside their own half, and like we said, the Scots, every time they've got down there, they've just looked dangerous and they're posting points.
I mean, this was just really direct from McClellan. It was almost like old-fashioned loose ball with this.
Yeah, it was. You know, he looks like a big, powerful boy. I mean, I've never actually met the person or seen him up close, but every time I've seen him play, he looks powerful. Players look like they really struggle to handle him.
That try comes after 46 minutes. Brute strength and a little bit of footwork at the start.
Yeah, again, as you said, then good left foot step, and then off the back of that, just explodes through that gap, and, you know, the Greek team just struggling to hold him there. Again, people going high and not winning the contact.
So it's Scotland who have the front by 22 points to 18. We'll put our scoreline right in a minute. So Ryan Brierley to take this ball, and he'll attempt the conversion. I think he'll be thankful that it's near the post as well.
Yeah, he'll be glad to get off that touchline, won't he? Deceptive here that there's always a wind going down the pitch here, so he'll be kicking with the wind at his back here, so he should find it fairly comfortable conversion here.
So this to give Scotland a 24 points to 18 lead. Takes his time, steps up, right-footed, flags are raised, and it is Greece 18, Scotland 24. Just what the Scots ordered.
Yeah, that's exactly what they wanted. That the response after points, go down the pitch, man down, and post a 6-pointer.
And it's funny how sometimes that can happen, isn't it? You know, so Scotland slowed it down. The error came in. They slowed it down and then moved it.
Yeah, sometimes going down a man down, you know, it just galvanises you. All of a sudden, everyone finds a little bit of extra energy from somewhere, and, you know, if you can get that turnover like they did, then all of a sudden you're feeling full of energy, and strangely enough, you're on the front foot.
Oh, and then the hemorrhaging penalties again. Greece here. High challenge. Everyone raced in. We've got an official crowd that's been given here of 639. That's pretty good for a Friday night.
Yeah, it's a really good crowd. You know, as we said before, last time the Greeks played here, there was 700-800 people. So again, it looks like they've pulled out numbers again.
So 24 points to 18. There's some concern being shown there. I think it might be Kavanagh who's down. Could do without an injury to him. He's been phenomenal in this game.
Yeah, I think fortunately enough it's Joe McLennan. I think that's taken the bang, but, you know, he's a big, strong, tough boy, Joe, so I'm sure he'll continue.
Oh, the thumbs up has come. And it's also cleverly used up about 30-40 seconds of the clock as well.
Exactly, using that experience.
I like that. Oh, and a good touch finder as well.
Yeah, you see that wind, as I said in the first half, it just catches the ball and takes it down the pitch real easy.
Scotland go on the charge, but unfortunately no one was ready for it in the Greek defence. So they'll reset and forward comes Scotland again. Pushing over the 30-metre line. Thomas checks to his right-hand side, links with McClelland. He in turn links with Douglas. Another no-nonsense run from him. Mia Nikakis coming up with the tackle. And they're inside that 20-metre line again here. Scotland looking threatening. Options both sides of the ruck, and it'll go to the left. Here's Douglas again, winds himself up from deep, crashes forward, drags 3 defenders in as well.
It's a great carry. It's good defence though by the Greeks. They've slowed it down, got their numbers right.
Here's McClelland out the back. Oh, and it's opened up. Inside pass comes. Didn't need the inside pass on. They're playing nines rugby.
Yeah, overplayed their hand there. It looked like he just needed to finish it in the corner.
Oh, it looked like that should really have been a try for Oaks in that corner.
Yeah, I mean, defensively it was really poor from the Greeks. They've got plenty of numbers there, but again, they're just jamming in on the edge. Jordan sat on the touchline, just not going in when his inside men are going, and unfortunately, Oaks throws that pass inside.
So it's going to be a scrum. I think they'll be thankful to get away with that one, will Greece?
Massively thankful. I think, potentially that's a game there. I think if Scotland get over the line again, 12 men down to 12 men and scoring 2 tries would have been really a good effort.
10 minutes of the second half gone. Hope you're enjoying the coverage in this World Cup qualifier. Must also comment as well that Greece will play a game on the road next week up at Serbia, who, to be fair, despite losing 86 points to nil to Scotland, never gave up. I know Stuart Wilkinson was full of praise for their efforts. It's Greece working the ball out 25 metres from their own line. Mamouzelos picks up out a dummy half, finds a runner, an eager runner who carries it towards that 40. Mamouzelos again. There's Tuilatu running inside, sends it down this left-hand side. That's a strong carry from Magoulias. Magoulias down that, you can almost call it a tram line now with the way that touchline's been extended. Oh, this is good work. Good work from Robinson. Chips it forward. What's the chase like on that one? Well, he'll find some space and it'll bounce, it'll bobble. Oaks has kittens, but manages to get hold of it and ends up being caught and sent back towards his own line.
No, it's turned out to be a fantastic kick, and they got the penalty off the back of it.
And it's all got a little bit tetchy.
Yeah, again, this is what the Greeks will want. They want to fire up the Scottish guys. They want to put them off their game, and it's really hard once you're off your game to just stay concentrated and stay on task. And Will Oakes there has had a little bit of a nightmare, unfortunately.
I mean, you can see he's trying hard, but he's just having one of those nights where nothing is going for him. And sometimes you get games like that, don't you?
You do, obviously. He's had 3 or 4 kicks now that he's really struggled with, and you can see it's just throwing him off his game and then giving a penalty away with the ball and reacting to something that he doesn't need to react to. He's almost doubled up the error.
Which is a real shame, considering how, you mentioned the fact that he finished the season on loan at York, and York had a brilliant end to the season themselves. He's been very good, but not tonight. It's just not happened for him.
Yeah, as you said, it just seems like one of those games at the moment. He just needs one thing to go his way. See it in the corner there where he probably should have finished it. He's just, as you said, just having one of those games. But for his sake and for Scotland's sake, I hope he manages to turn it round.
Jordan Meads isn't complaining though. He's got this ball about 5 metres from the touchline. He's actually kicked it backwards just to give themselves a bit more space to try and launch something, to try and get the point set.
It's tit for tat at the moment. I think if the Greeks get over the line again, then they're going to be buzzing, they're going to be confident, it's going to be sky high, and the Scots are going to really struggle. That's
Cambos, 5 metres from the line. Oh, and it's another dart out of dummy half from that live wire number 9, Peter Mamouzelos. Just held up.
Yeah, he's just got his body shape all wrong there. He's just a little bit high. He needs to be going nice and low there. Makes it easy for the defence just to hold him up.
They had some really good numbers there in defence, did Scotland. Can they hold out on this occasion? Well, to be honest, Greece didn't offer much on that particular carry.
No, just a one-up carry, but
maybe something on this occasion. Oh, it's been half intercepted, put down. Ball goes backwards, it's bouncing all over the place. Picked up on that left-hand side by Koutsiborgias.
An opportunity there for Hogg.
And that's where I said he's quick if he gets on their interceptions.
He did. It'd have been excited to see him chased by the fullback, Chase Robinson now.
So Greece still knocking on the door. 8 metres away. Comes down this left-hand side. Big carry coming in. What's that defence like? It's dragged him to the line and just over it, and they've kept him up, so it's going to be back to the 10-metre line for the play of the ball.
Good play that by Scotland. Just gives you an opportunity to get your defensive line set. You're not stood right on your try line. You can get your number in a little bit better. Slows the play the ball down.
That was Mugios from South Sydney who had that opportunity. Little kick comes in. Oh, it's bouncing, it's bobbling. It's picked up perfectly. And Greece have gone over. Super try there for Jake Hambos. He followed through. We have a game on once again.
We certainly do. The Scots are going to be devastated here. I think, again, all go back to that error and that penalty. If they don't do that, then they're probably down the other end of the pitch and possibly seeing out the game. But give Jordan an opportunity here from 10 yards to the side of the sticks to make it 24 apiece.
I think this was Chase Robinson again. Oh no, it was Magoulias put the kick in. What a kick that was. Brilliant kick. Just bounced up straight into the arms there of Jake Campbell.
Yeah, he couldn't have asked for a better bounce there, could he? Got a little bit of fortune there with a ricochet, I think, off one of the Scottish players. I think off McLennan, is it?
Yeah, it did little bit of a ricochet there. Greece 22, Scotland 24. This game is that exciting. Our producer is getting so excited as well. He's just said him here, important kick. I couldn't put it any better.
No, it's certainly that. I think, as you said, Jordan's been kicking well, so I expect him to probably stop this over now. Hopefully I haven't done the old commentator's curse.
We've not had one of those tonight, so that'll be good. So Meads steps up, right-footed, flags are raised. We're all level once again, 24 points each. What would be interesting, if this game goes down to a draw, it would mean that Greece would have to go over to Serbia and win by more than 86 points to qualify for the World Cup.
Wow.
People will be starting getting the abacus out, won't they? You do realise that as someone from Lancashire, I've had to count fingers, toes, double it, triple it, just to get to that score.
Yeah, you're underselling yourself. I know some smart Lancastrians. 24
points each. Back underway. Kick comes in to restart us from Ryan Brierley. Here come Greece. How Scotland would love to force an error from this position. 10 metres away from the try line. Doesn't look like it's coming on that particular occasion. And Muziles turns the ball to his left-hand side to Ilatu, gets the ball away. Now they're keeping the ball alive a little bit here at Greece. Unfortunately for them, it's inside their own 20.
Yeah, you see Rob there, a little bit of footwork and an offload again. I'm not sure it's necessarily the position I should be asking him to do that. I'd want him to sort of back that carry up now and go again here.
Let's see if they can do just that. Well, they've won a penalty, so that'll gain them at least 20 metres downfield.
It's almost like a game of two halves here.
Oh, that's a terrible kick to touch. That's an awful kick.
Oh, it's a game changer.
Picked up by Alex Walker. He's got a free run. Oh, good job he ducked as well. He's won the penalty.
Game changer.
Really did fly in there off the defence.
Scott's on the front foot here.
We just see this little replay. You could see here Walker does this so well, doesn't he? He kind of skips around looking for an opening and just teases out the penalties. This time it was Mia Nakiasu who come up with the penalty.
Yeah, he's got a real unorthodox style of running. It's not a sidestep, it's almost like a stop and change of direction. It's difficult. Defenders really struggle with it.
A stop and shuffle.
Yeah. Scott's in a great position here. I think they need to get over the line and stop this tit for tat.
Pass comes into the middle. Here's Ferguson. Drags 3 defenders in. They're virtually on a post. Just opposite the post in front of them.
Short on that left edge.
Comes down the right. Chance here for Gluey. Gluey just held up. 2 metres out. Dixon at dummy half. Passes infield to Brierley, who skips across field. Drops it back for the runner. Tell you what, that's a battling run forward by Ferguson.
It's a strong run by the old Ferguson. Numbers on this right side again.
2 metres out from the line. Ball go left. Brierley tries to engage the defence. Now it's out wide. Surely the score hit coming here. Oh, brilliant defence.
Great cover defence.
Excellent defence down that side from Greece. Don't know how they held out there. Can they hold out again as McClellan kicks forward, aim for the post. It's cut off of the pass. They'll charge back into attack here, will Greece.
It's a good set of defence there by the Greeks. They needed that. They just need to get on the front foot here, finish this set. I'll be talking to my halves about finishing this set in touch here. Just a nice long kick, slowing that game down, getting your breather back.
Great run from Tuilatu. And then Mamoulas tries to spark something on that right-hand side. They do seem to be doing just what you're saying, working themselves towards the touchline, he says, as he opens it out again. That was one of them commentators' curses, you know.
Yeah, I think he just looks like he's opening the angle for himself here, Jordan.
Magoulias through hands. Once again, Davy Dixon pushed up to try and intercept. They'll come down this left-hand side. Intercept again. Had to be telling that though, because they were a bit short of numbers on this side, Scotland, then, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. You know, it's a tough one that from David Dixon. I think if he doesn't do it, they're away. But I think he could probably, you know, he's got a lot of land behind him. I thought he could have bided a bit of time there and just dropped off a little.
24 points each. We're just around the hour mark. Really, really close game. Great standard as well. Really enjoyed the openness of this contest. You know, the Greek side has a few players in the ranks who are local to the Greek competition. We've got the likes of Matt Hogg, who's coming through, and the substitute Liam Falkland, who's if he gets on the field will be making his debut this evening. So, you know, there's some really good stories out there as Greece go on the attack. Pass comes in field, it looks like he goes to ground. It's a knock on.
Yeah, there's some good stories, you know. That's what you want. You want all these emerging nations. You know, we've done it the same with Jamaica. We brought over 2 boys from the island and give them an opportunity against England Knights, and that's the only way that you develop the game, is to give them that exposure at that higher level.
It's a really good run, and then unfortunately just the last bit of hands let him down. But really good work again from Jake Cambos, who's been quite destructive at times down that right hand side for Greece.
Yeah, they've got some big ball carriers, the Greeks, and they're offloading the ball as well. So, you know, let's see how they go here. They've got an opportunity and some good ball here. Let's see if they can get themselves an opportunity to score a try. Yeah,
that call actually went against Scotland, so the Greeks are back in possession. 61 minutes on the board. Oh, that was scrappy from Magoulias. Ball's gone to the floor. Who's going to drop on that one? Well, it's the loose forward, but that is going to be ruled as an error against him. I think he just tried to do too much on his own then.
Yeah, just getting a bit excited there. He just needs to get himself into a good start point and give his team an opportunity to have a good ball set against him.
You can tell he's a clever player, but the two players weren't on the same page then, so Nikiakos couldn't really take that one. He'd already gone past him, hadn't he? So Hogg has moved into the half-back position, or at least he's putting the ball in at the scrum, let's put it that way. Run coming in off the base of that scrum by David Dixon. He'll start next season at Dewsbury. A great signing that for Dewsbury, by the way. He's been a loyal player for the last 2 or 3 seasons up at Keighley, but the Scots have now coughed up possession. We're entering one of those scrappy periods of the game, and I know sometimes you get scrappy good and scrappy, and at the moment it's a bit scrappy, isn't it?
It is very much so. A little bit of a scrum-a-thon going on here, isn't it? You know, I think the first team probably to settle down here and just get back into the rhythm of things is a team that's going to go away with it. You would be hoping that the Scots have got enough experience in the team to be able to be the team that do that, but at the moment the Greeks are full of energy, and while they're full of energy, the Scots are going to be under pressure.
And you mentioned something in the first half. This is good ball territory for them, isn't it? They're just 40 metres away from the Scottish try line.
Yeah, this is what you want as an attacking player, as an outside back, as a half back. You want this good ball territory. You want this opportunity to have a go at the other team,
and they do just that. Straight from the base of the scrum. That was unorthodox.
Yeah, it's that number 9 again. He's quick out the ruck.
Whoa, big hit, gliding in.
It's good contact.
Says, can they wrestle him down? They stop the offload as well. Greece on the edge of that 20-metre line. Coming through the middle. Big carry, strong carry as well, that one. 10 metres away from the line. Mamoulas running for the line. Just about held up, 3 men on him. Carried him into the in-goal area as well. I like what Scotland have done that. They've done this on 2 or 3 occasions, haven't they, where they've got to the line, they've carried them over it, because then they've got to go back 10 metres.
They have. It just buys them a bit of time. It slows that play the ball down. You don't have to get so tight round the ruck. You can afford to get yourself 1 man in at marker and an extra man on the defensive line. So it's a real smart play by the Scottish team. You know, obviously the risk is that you don't hold that ball up
Let's see what comes of this one. Magoulias puts the kick in. Great pick up by Hogg, who skips around a couple of players and has made it back into the field of play as well.
Fantastic work. He picked that ball up really well then.
Had to be really brave as well, didn't he, as McClelland sets himself for a run. Scotland still inside their own 10-metre line.
Again, I'd be encouraging the Scots to use this little bit of a wind here. One carry, maybe more, and send it down the field with a good kick chase.
Well, at the moment they seem content to pick it up out of dummy half. David Scott will do that all day. Does it regularly for Batley Bulldogs, that. And there's that long kick that Jermaine was calling for. Comes from Oscar Thomas, straight down the throat of Chase Robinson.
Didn't just quite catch enough of it.
Very quick, isn't he, Robinson?
He
just charged back 20 metres.
He covered that ground quick then. I think maybe another full back of that ball would have bounced and Oscar would have been alright and got the kick on there, but unfortunately he's covered that ground quick enough and just caught it on the full.
Once again it gives Greece some great field position and they'll hit it through the middle.
Yeah, the Greeks just need to be patient here and not try force anything. You know, the Scots at the moment are having to defend, and you saw in the first half when the Greeks had to defend 4 or 5 minutes at the Scots posted point, so I wouldn't be worried here if I was the Greeks. I'd just spend some time here, just keep turning the ball over on your own terms.
Muselos to his right hand side, through hands it goes again. Mead gets it out, ball goes loose. Scotland have dropped on it. Was there not? I mean, nobody's reacted, but I just had the feeling it was a little knock on there somewhere along the line.
Yeah, it looked like a tough one from here.
But I suppose you've got to go off for the rest of it. We'll see. We'll have another look here. I've got to give credit to producer Dan. You know, he's come up with this picture. Let's have a look at this again. It's real scrappy. Oh no! It's a great.
Well, he picks up well there, Dave Scott. Just dives on the ball.
My eyes deceived me.
Yeah, now they're in good ball, Scots.
Tearing the way downfield as well through Dale Ferguson. Quick play the ball for Thomas. He's been pretty good in this 9 position.
You know, he's done really well, Oscar, actually. He might have found himself a new position here. I think he's defended well, and as I said, he's got fantastic core skills around the ruck anyway and can see the game really well. So
here's Walker, skipping one way, drifting the other. Now he'll look for an opening.
That's what we're talking about. That it's just a really awkward running style, but it works for him. So.
And it's definitely worked for him because he's off at Wakefield next season. It'll be a great signing for them. Now Scotland within 5 metres of the line. Thomas will take it blindside. Over the top it goes. And he's had a try in the corner for Oakes. Referee will retreat and he'll give it. Something has gone right for Will Oakes.
There you go. That's what he's very good at. He's done it at York. He's done it at OKR. I think I first saw him doing it for England Academy. He did really well. So it's a great finish there.
It was a lovely ball over the top from Oscar Thomas. Saw lots of space there. Created a little bit by the big fella Douglas running wide.
Well, that's it. He's done that all game, found his front and just got that quick play of the ball. And yeah, Oscar just executes a really good pass there and finished really well by Will Oakes.
It's a good finish, this. Let's have a see from a closer angle. Oh, that's a super pass. That is a great pass, that.
Yeah, fantastic. Great vision from Oscar. As we said, he's a good player, Oscar. He sees the game well.
28 points to Scotland, 24 points to Greece.
Seems like there's a little bit of unhappiness in the crowd there about that final pass.
Or was that the reaction that we got?
That was a reaction. I think there's a couple of people asking about a forward pass there, but it's a sore subject on this field of a forward pass at the end of a game.
Well, we've even got Gavin Willisey asking us, was that forward? I don't think it was. I just thought it was a perfect pass into that corner.
Well, he's here on that right edge again, Ryan. Let's see if he can pitch it.
Always give it chances. Has he got it? No, it's waved away again.
Not
2
like
from
it was a
6
bit closer this game.
2 from 6 for him. So even our producer thinks he's quoted it as potential forward pass. There's nothing wrong with this. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a great finish and a great pass. It's in the history books, put it that way.
Well, that's it. Read it in the papers, as they say.
12 minutes to go. Scotland in front by 28 points to 24. They'll get this ball back and we'll run back into contact. In fact, it's an awkward looking run towards that touchline.
Will Oakes nearly undid all his good work.
Now they'll bring it back through the middle. Is that the big fella Douglas again? Gets the front foot. Wins the penalty as well. That's clever. Clever play using all of his 33 years of experience there.
Yeah, they're just rolling down the pitch now, the Scots. Again, this is what we're talking about, just taking some control, getting themselves back in the grind.
And you said the team that settles down will be the team that goes on and win it. And so far, that's looking more likely at this stage is Scotland.
Yeah, it does look like the Scots. I think, again, if they finish this set on positive terms, then they'll be pretty happy with that. And I think the Greeks will then struggle to come out of the half. And, I'd be looking, if I was the Scots, if we finish the set here, to probably force an error and try and get the ball back nice and early.
Sam Luckley plays it. Ball out with Dale Ferguson. He's been good today, Ferguson.
Yeah, he's just an experienced player, isn't he? He carries the ball well, managed to wrap them defenders up in the tackle, and more often than not leaves one on the floor.
Briley within 10 metres of the line. Long ball to the left. Another long ball. Oh, McClellan picking up the runner. They've got to the line. And what a score that is. Ben Kavanagh coming up with his second try of the game.
Yeah, again, just a bit too big, a bit too strong on the edge of the field there.
Some excellent link-up play. Once again, it's this width that Thomas is giving the players, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great service he's been given. And again, you just see McLennan here again, that last little step, squares up that defender, gets that one-on-one. And unfortunately, the centre's just not good enough to stop Kavanagh scoring again on the edge. As I said, comes from this great service here from Oscar. It's just on point, on the money. Sam plays out the back. Again, squares him up one-on-one.
Now I think Scotland have decided they're giving Ryan Briley enough chances to add the goal points. They're giving it to Oscar Thomas to see what he can do.
Well, Oscar strikes the ball really well, to be fair to him. He likes these fancy bits of the game where he gets to be the main man, and he strikes that ball really well, so I wouldn't put it past him to slot this.
He was the main kicker at Bradford a couple of years ago, wasn't he, during his stint there? And this season he started off as the main kicker at Swinton, kicked 13 goals in the first 6 games of the year before finding himself preferred at half-back, and the flags are raised. I tell you what, he's got the job for the next one.
I bet he has. He spent some time on loan with me at Scholars, Oscar, and yeah, he can kick a ball, certainly can.
Moves the scoreline on to Greece 24, Scotland 34. So as it stands, if the Scots can hold out, they qualify for the World Cup in 2021.
Yeah, they'll be excited about that. I think that might be the try that's just finished Greece off, to be honest with you. I think if Scots again can just get this ball back from the restart and finish this set off, then they'll be pretty happy with that. 9
minutes to go. Greece trying everything to get hold of that ball. Oh, and then a loose carry goes against Scotland, unfortunately, there.
Will we go back to the first knock-on from the kick-off?
Yeah. Certainly pointing in the direction of Scotland there. See, this is why you're next to me. You spotted that.
I think the Scots will be happy with that. Again, I think they'll finish this set off, and they'll be looking to McLennan and Briley just to control this set and dictate how this set goes with a positive finish.
There's a lot of positive words being spoken at the back of that scrum at the moment. You can tell everybody's buzzed up for it, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll be talking about probably as we're just saying there about just finishing this set off and just calming down. They're 10 points up in the game now, so as it stands, like you said, if Greece don't score, then Scotland win the game and they qualify for the World Cup.
Here's Gloway, running strong. Picked up a good 15 metres there before being the meat in the Greek sandwich. Ball we play to Thomas, who turns it to his left-hand side. Douglas crashes through again. Well, he's had a great career as Luke Douglas, over 300 NRL appearances, probably another 30-40 for St Helens and 27 for Lee last season. Bringing the curtain down on a fantastic career. Scotland looking lively. Kavanagh plays it. Here's Thomas out of dummy half. Skips to the right. Links with Gloway. He cuts back to the left. Gets past 2. Gets past 3. Plays for Lakes United, does Gloway. 20 metres away from the line. Ball on the left-hand side. Oh, chances here again. They're keeping it lively. It's out with Oakes. Oakes, has he got the strength? He's still trying to burrow his way forward.
Yeah, they won't mind that the Scots are finished, 5 yards off a touchline, 5 yards off a try line, 2 yards off a touchline, asking the Greeks can they go 90 metres and score a try.
Tell you what, you don't fancy it as a Greek forward getting the ball there with like
there you go.
6 or 7 yellow jerseys running after you.
Certainly don't. There's that front loading of energy there. Exactly what we were talking about. Getting the ball back now, another set. I think that might just be the end of the Greek team. I think that might have just killed them off.
Can I use this in my commentary next season, this front loading that you're teaching me tonight?
You can certainly use it, yeah.
So it's going to be a drop out forced by Scotland on the Greeks. They'll drop it fairly short, it'll bounce, it'll bobble, it'll trickle to the 30-metre line. That's where it's picked up by Oakes, who cuts his way forward. Good run to the edge of the 20, plays it quickly. Ball back on the inside. That's a great run. What a carry that is.
This is the one off this try.
Luke Douglas, big and strong, winning the
Scots
penalty.
will take the 2 here. Put them out 12 in front.
Well, they can then enjoy the last 5 minutes, really, can't they? Because
Yeah,
you shouldn't really
exactly.
be coughing up a 12-point advantage with 5 minutes to go.
No, I can't imagine. I think Oscar will take his full minute and a half here and run that clock down.
Thomas does look up to the posts. Seeing as he's now got the job, he wants another 2 points to his tally. Just controls things, like you say, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it just slows that game down. Any energy, any enthusiasm that the Greek team might want to be gaining from the Scots team, they're just not going to do it. Oscar is going to take his time here, kick the 2 points, send the ball as far down the back of the pitch as possible, and then they'll go again next set.
So taking his time. Some of his teammates not even watching him, getting back behind halfway. Flags are raised. They didn't need to watch him. Greece 24, Scotland 36. Now, I'm intrigued, as my special guest and special co-commentator tonight, who would you be picking as your player of the match?
I don't think you can look anywhere else at the moment than Chase Robinson. I think it's a shame that he seems like he's gone off with cramp. That just takes the dimension away from the Greek team. But I think by far he's looked like the most dangerous player on the pitch. I think if you're going to go for consistency, then the next person might be McLennan from the Scots team.
So our player of the match is Greece, number 6, Chase Robinson, who sadly isn't on that pitch at the moment. We've got Constantinou operating at fullback once again. And Scotland looking lively down the left-hand side. Great stepping run forward. Still going. Eventually put down on the 40-metre line, 10 metres in from touch. That's where the ball will be played. Now it'll be swept into the middle where Ferguson will carry it forward. Always seems to leave a trail of defenders behind him.
You see a nice high kick to a corner here, I would have thought, and just a good kick chase.
Well, it's a low kick into the corner, but he was right with the corner. It's definitely controlling the tempo of the game.
Yeah, again, that's something McLennan's done at Featherstone this season. I think you see it in the game a few games against Toronto, where he's just kicked it and rolled it into the corner. He's got fantastic game management for a young player, and as I said, I fully expect him to go on at Leeds and make a few appearances this year. Yeah,
I think if you're a Leeds fan watching this game tonight, you'd be impressed and you'd be thinking, hey, he's knocking on the door already of this first team.
Yeah, I think you'd be excited. For me, I think he's got a great future in the game. Leeds have struggled since Danny Maguire has gone and Rob Burr have gone to produce some halfbacks of their own, but he very much looks like he might be the next one.
This ball goes loose and it's a penalty to Greece. Kicked away in frustration by Ryan Brierley. I think he gave a teammate a spray there as well, asking him why they did that. Now someone said something out of turn. It's another 10 metres gained and dabbed into touch by Greece. Will they finish with a flourish with 2.5 minutes remaining? Tap to be taken. This is Koutsiborgias up over that 40-metre line. I noticed that Jake Vranos is on the field now, operating dummy half. Let's see what he can do. Vranos passes to the right hand side. Meads lines it up, puts it through hands to Magoulias. He's overwhelmed in defence there. Still manages to get the ball away. Oh, and then to Alatu, that's just tired hands. He was thinking of firing it wide then, wasn't he?
He was thinking about his next move. I think Rob's a bit tired. I mean, he's not played now since August, so he'll be feeling it the minutes he's done. I think he did the whole first half, and he's not had much of a stint off in this second half. So yeah, it looks a little bit of tiredness there for me.
To be fair, he's probably one of those guys. There's one of several players I think in this Greek lineup who haven't played since August, maybe early September. It's a long time, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, it's tough. We found it exactly the same when we played England last week in Jamaica. Quite a lot of our boys had finished playing in September, being sort of part-time players, and really relied on the likes of Michael Lawrence and Ashton Golden and Ben Jones Bishop, the full-time players that we had to really drag them through and give them that little bit of confidence and that little bit of a boost in the game. And it's probably the Greeks that are just missing that at the moment. They just need someone just to calm them down and sort of give them a little bit of energy.
I've got to say, that what second half that was from your Jamaica side.
Yeah, do you know what? I think the first half just caught us. I think there's not many of us that have played at that level before and at that speed, and we just really struggled to get to grips with England. But to credit to England, some of the tries that they scored and the handling that they displayed was phenomenal, and it was hard to defend against. But as you said, the second half we kind of got to grips with the game, and the boys put an amazing amount of effort into the game. I think Michael Lawrence did 80 minutes and made 40 odd tackles, and that's a phenomenal effort from someone who's joined us this year, and he just demonstrates the togetherness that the group had. We never gave up, and we fought right towards the end. I think England were fortunate, really. They scored a try in the last couple of minutes and made it 38 rather than 32, and maybe took the shine off of our performance a little.
Well, you mentioned the togetherness that you encountered. I think we've certainly seen it from both of these sides tonight, haven't we? Of Scotland go on the charge once again, 20 metres away from the line, rumbling through that middle. Thomas picks up out dummy half again. Oh, look at that for a run. It's a brilliant run. Has he got enough to get to the line? He has.
That's class by Douglas. I think, as we've mentioned him all game, he's just punching in behind that block hole there, hits a fantastic line, and just rolls over the top of people.
So for him, it's good night rugby league career. What a way to go out. If you're a prop forward, you've been crying out for a try like this to be scored all your life, haven't you?
20 metres out, beat 3 defenders. I reckon by the end of the evening he would have been 80 metres out and beat 6 defenders. But as we said, he's done that all game, just hit behind that ruck hole, got the Scottish team on the front foot. Oscar does well there just to hold the marker and just give him that one-on-one.
And with Luke Douglas playing his final rugby league game this evening, coming up with the try and getting the chance to add the goal as well. This could be interesting.
Yeah, this will be a nice finish for him, won't it? I mean, the score probably doesn't reflect the game for the Greeks. I feel a bit sorry for him here. They put some fantastic effort in and played some great rugby, and
especially when they got it back to 24 points each.
Yeah, exactly. I think at that point they just lacked a little bit of experience, a little bit of know-how, and just tried to force it a little bit. And the Scots, to the credit, have dug in there and just kept plucking away, and the score looks pretty comfortable now.
So let's see if he can add these 2 points. He can. Give him that job. What a shame we've uncovered a great kicker in his last ever game. But there we have it. The referee's whistle brings an end to proceedings. Scotland have qualified for the 2021 World Cup.
Yeah, congratulations to Scotland, all the staff, all the players. Looking forward to hopefully meeting you there in the World Cup as well.
And it's so good, everybody individually going up to hug Luke Douglas. What an amazing career he's had. As I've mentioned, over 300 games in the NRL, probably another 40-50% St Helens, and has finished it in Scotland colours, a cause for which he has given blood, sweat and tears over the years.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. Obviously, there's lots of questions going around at the moment about players who have a heritage and playing for different countries, but to his credit, he's played for Scotland for a while now, and despite the fact that he's playing in the NRL, he wasn't sort of shying away from his duties of being an international for Scotland, and he's done the jersey proud, and what a way to finish that off. Last touch of the game, 20-metre try, and then knocking the 2 points over like a kicker that's been kicking all season.
So it's finished 42 points to 24 here. Let's have a look at these highlights, and this was right back in the 3rd minute. Davy Dixon with a open pasture and then turning the ball inside. Ryan Briley being jolly on the spot.
Yeah, as he always is. Him and Danny Maguire, probably the best 2 support players up there with Ellery Hanley, really, in terms of where they're at. They're just always there, sniffing out every opportunity. David does fantastic there, but what a fantastic game a fantastic start to the game for the Scottish team.
So that was finished right underneath the posts. Then the ball came to the left hand side here. Lovely hands from McClelland, a sleight of hand as well, I should say, as he dummied his way through the defence, bumped off a couple of players on the way as well. Yeah, fantastic footwork there, just dipping that shoulder, just getting on the outside of knees, just fades away from the ball there. You see 2 steps and then just brushes off Chase at fullback. Then at this particular point, the Scots were flying, weren't they? So this made it 14 points to 0.
Yeah, they're all over him here. Just McLennan, again, just getting Kavanagh one-on-one with that centre. Unfortunately, just too big, too strong.
I might see a little bit of a closer angle on that one. Thomas doing what he's done all game tonight, putting some real width on his passing.
Yeah, I think that really hurt the Greeks. Obviously, the Greeks were defending quite tight, and the tight they were defending, Oscar was just cutting out 3 or 4 players with that pass, and just puts extra pressure on the outside.
Then we saw the response come from Greece. Lovely work down this right-hand side. Robinson with a lovely sleight of hand there, and then big finish coming in there from Mitch Zampatidis.
Yeah, and then they're on the front foot after this. Again, Jordan, good work there, skipping across the pitch. Giving Robinson a little bit of space, and again, just that last little step, last little movement, that subtlety in that pass to get that centre one-on-one.
And then it was basically 2 tries in 4 minutes at this stage.
Yeah, it was. They were really on the front foot here. You know, Rob just picking a great line just outside that post. That defender's got to sit inside that post and get around the post. Makes it extra hard for him, and he dives over underneath the sticks. He'll be very happy with that. You know, I know he's a very proud Greek man, so he'll be excited about scoring a try for them, representing them.
Lovely finish that from Tuilatu, just got between the 2 defenders.
And then this is just a training ground exercise, you know, looking at that diamond shape, outside man, tying him in. Alex really calm there, just pushes through, draws in Robinson, drops Scott in the corner.
And again, the closer angle on it. I just love the subtlety, but the simplicity of it as well.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things, isn't it? Rugby League tries, all the best tries are scored with 2-yard passes, not 15-yard passes. And you know, the more you can get that drilled into your players and about people running them really good tight lines, and the easier it is and the harder it is to defend.
And this was the final try of the first half, and it was the live wire hooker, Mazules, who went over near the line. I was struggling to see my notes because they've actually switched off the lights in the main stand here around us. Have they got is it on timer?
It sounds very much like New River. They're not a massive fan of us rugby people being on the pitch and being in the stand, so
I hope they don't turn the main lights off, actually, because otherwise I won't be able to find myself back to the car. But let's carry on with these highlights once again in the second half. Great work from McClellan.
Yeah, again, just dangerous. Again, off that left foot, just dipping that shoulder, beating the defender. And then just a little bit too big, too strong, just explodes into that space. Again, good work by Oscar, holds up the defence, and then he just pushes back on the inside, them defenders who got tied up.
I've been really excited by his performance tonight. This was the score from Greece that levelled it at 24 points each.
Yeah, this is the one with a lucky bounce off the kick, little ricochet, pops right up into his own player's hands.
Great pick up there, and a finish from Jake Cambos.
Yeah, put them back level. This 24 apiece, I think, was this it? We tried to put them back in the game.
Certainly was. Goulias, the creator. And then the Scots, they just took control here. Great run from Douglas to set the position. This had a few people coming to us questioning the validity of the pass. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I don't think there's not enough in that caption to show it, I think. But again,
you're not convinced. I can tell you, mate.
Yeah, there's been some interesting camera angles. As I said, you know, we got beat by Hunsett on the last play of the game, and I think for them, the halfback thought he was playing American football, and unfortunately the decision wasn't given for us. But again, Oscar, great sort of distribution there from dummy half from Clennon. Again, just that last little sort of step in off his left foot, just squaring that defender up.
And Kavanagh getting in for his second try. He's been great. I mean, he's played a lot of his career, to be honest, in the front row, hasn't he, Ben Kavanagh? So he's finding a bit of freedom down.
Yeah, he likes it. I think there's a lot of forwards, a lot of middles who love to push out to an edge and get a little bit excited when they're out there. And this caps off a fantastic day for Luke Douglas. I thought he was tremendous in the game and just hits that line in behind the ruck.
This was brilliant, this from Douglas. What a way for him to end his career. He has really delivered on the world stage for Scotland and can go into retirement happy with what he's done. he's been a warrior, he's been a professional, and what's more, he added the conversion as well.
He did. He kicked the conversion better than any of the strikes that had gone before him, to be honest with you. I'm surprised Scotland hadn't looked at him previously to kick the goals. I thought Ryan had a tough time from the touchline today. It's a difficult pitch to kick on New River. There's always a wind going from sort of left to right as we look at the pitch, and it's a little bit deceiving. It's hard to judge.
Jermaine, it's been a delight having you alongside me, so thank you ever so much. I hope you've enjoyed your Our League experience.
I have. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a great experience, and hopefully I get to do a little bit more.
We've enjoyed this game. It sees Scotland successful by 42 points to 24. We will bid you all a good night.